So this is a video on how to work out masses in chemical reactions. So we're going to start with an example equation and we're going to look at how we need to balance it and then go through the steps that you can see. So the first one is to balance the equation, then we work out the RFMs, the relative form masses which are involved in the equation, and label them on the diagram. Then label the known mass from the question, and we'll come on to that later on. And you've got to use that information to work out the unknown mass. So we're going to start with just an equation. And we're going to use this reaction, sodium hydroxide plus chlorine goes to this, which is bleach, plus sodium chloride. A bit bigger there. Let's just rub that out. And water, H2O. Okay, so as you can probably see there, you've got on this equation more sodiums on this side, so there's one there and one here, whereas on this side, on the left hand side, the reactants, there's only one. So two sodiums on the product side, one sodium on the reactant side, so we need to balance that out. You should all be nice and adept at balancing equations now, so what we have to do is put a big 2 there, and that rather nicely balances out your equation. So then we've got the RFMs involved in the question. So sodium hydroxide is 23 for sodium, plus 16 for oxygen, plus 1 for hydrogen, and all of that comes to 3940. But we've got 2 lots of it, so we times that by 2, that gives us 80. Chlorine is 35.5 and 2 lots of it is 70. And on the other side of the equation we've got the bleach, which is here, sodium chloride and water. So that's 23 plus 16 plus 35.5, which gives us 1114.5. Carry the 1, 74.5. And then the sodium chloride is 35.5 plus 23, which is 58.5. And the water, H2O, so 2 plus 16 is 18. Okay, so we've got all our relative form masses. Now, what you'll find in a moment is that you don't actually have to work them out, it just depends on what the question you get. So here's our equation again, and the question may say, if you have 100 grams of sodium hydroxide, how much in grams of chlorine do you need to make it all turn into bleach, or to convert the sodium hydroxide into bleach, sodium chloride and water? So a full conversion, how much chlorine would you need? So we had in the previous part, we worked out the relative form masses of the two, remembering that there's twice as much sodium hydroxide, so that was 80, and we've got 70 grams of that. Okay, so having noticed just previously, it should actually be 71 grams of chlorine. So that is wrong there, it should be 71. So, if we know we've got 171, these are the 2 pieces of information we need. So we're going to just move on a slide again and just have a new line. So we've got the bit of the equation we're concerned about. We've done the RFM, which was step 1, or step 1 was balancing, now we've done the RFM step 2. Now we need to put in the masses that we know, and we know we've got 100 grams of that. So the question is now to work out this. So you have to create a way of doing it now. I'm going to show you the way that I would prefer to do it, and then I'll show you a second way, and of course if you can see another way which suits you, that's fine, you can use that method. So to go from 80 to 71, I need to multiply 80 by something to get to 71. So I would multiply that by 71 over 80 to get to 71. So it's always the number on the right hand side, this one, that you're going to. You times it by that number and divide it by the number you started with. So what you must do then, to the 100 grams, the actual mass, is the exact same thing. So you're trying to get across to there, you would times it by 71 over 80. Okay, and the other method is to say, well, here's what I know. I want to make 80 equal to 1 and then multiply up to 100. So what do I divide 80 by to get to 1? Well, I divide it by 80. And then I need to times 1 by what to get to 100? Well, I times it by 100. So whatever you do to this side, or the side that you know the two things about, you do to the other side as well. So divide that by 80, and then multiply by whatever number's over here. In this case it's 100, so it's nice and easy, but you multiply whatever number, and you end up with your unknown. In both cases you can end up with the same value, which is 88.75 grams. So that's what you would expect anyway, because 80, the relative formula mass of sodium hydroxide, is slightly more than the chlorine that you would need to fully react it. So if you had 100, you would expect a number which is slightly less than 100, and 88 fits that bill. So that's what you're looking for.